Hey guys, Berger here with MVP Paintball. Thanks a lot for joining us for this episode of Tech Tuesday. This week, I'm going to go over the Dye M2 low pressure regulator. So your low pressure regulator basically regulates how hard your bolt moves forward and backwards. That's simple terms for it. It comes preset at about 65 psi. Typically you don't really need to adjust that very often. If you're using a little bit thicker of a lube, you might crank it up a little bit. The cold could affect it, the heat can affect it. So it's usually minor adjustments. It's not something like you go from 65 to 50 or something like that. So I think I have mine typically set around 63 in the cold, and that works pretty well for me. So in order to get to your LPR, you have to remove the cover that covers up the high pressure regulator and the low pressure regulator. And we have to use an Allen wrench to remove this screw. Take it out. I'll make sure you don't lose it. And just put your finger in here, pull it apart, set that aside. Gives you a good opportunity to clean off any old hits that are underneath that cover. So your low pressure regulator sits right here. And we are going to remove the entire piece. This is the 1/4 inch. Now I've already degassed the marker, made sure that there was no air left in the regulator. And I do that by bypassing the eye, shooting into a garbage can. Even when you know that there's no paint in there, always treat it like there's paint in there. So just kind of pull it out. These O-rings are the only thing that was really holding it in there. This doesn't look too bad. The lube around it is still relatively clean. We're going to pull this retaining nut out, and for that we need a .05 Allen wrench. You don't need to back these all the way out. You just back them out a little bit. You don't want to lose them, they are tiny. Ask me how I know. Let's just unscrew that. And sometimes it wants to come out, sometimes it doesn't. Maybe I'll have to do this one just a little bit more. There we go. So inside of here, that is where we take our 3/16. That is not our 3/16. That is our 3/16. I just can't seem to put it in there. Unscrew it. And this is a lot like the velocity adjuster screw that's in the high pressure regulator. I'm going to pull that out. You want to make sure, just like any time that you're relubing anything, get rid of all the old lube, any of the dirt, debris. So this is a reg seat right here. It's a little black piece in the middle. I don't know what actual material it is. It's like nylon or something. And it's relatively soft. And there's a piston in here that rests up against that. And if you push this all the way in, screw it all the way in, it's basically going to close off all the air by making an airtight seal on here. And the harder you press that in, the more the piston lip is going to press into it, and eventually you could damage it. You should have replacements in your M2 repair kit that comes with the marker, or you can buy a larger one from Dye, and it's got more of them in there. So you just always want to give that a quick little look, set that aside so it doesn't roll away. And then the piston, I don't really know if you can see it, but it's down in there. And I'm just going to use an Allen wrench, push that out a little bit. Now when you take this out, you gotta be careful, because there are some tiny little shims that are in here. I like taking a pick or a screwdriver, putting it in, And you can transfer all of your shims over and not lose the order. There's some lube on there, that's why they're kind of sticking there. Now, every once in a while, because of the lube, you get one that kind of sticks on there. We're going to leave it there. It's fine to leave it on there. And you might also have one that's in there. And that one doesn't want to come off either because of the lube. And you want to make sure that you keep the orientation of that. I remember where it goes. It's going to go on the end of there. You just want to give a look down in there, make sure that there's no ripped O-rings or anything. There's a little O-ring inside of there. I like to just use a Q-tip, put it in there. That just gives it a nice little tight fit to clean off any of the lube and debris. You can do it from both sides. You can see that there's something in there. I don't really know what that's from. I'm going to go over to the other end, give it a nice thorough cleaning. Yep, looks pretty good in there. Set that aside. Now we're going to look down into the body itself. There's a clean part of the Q-tip. Get down in there. I don't know if you can see that. It's a little dark in there, but sometimes when you're playing outside like we do here, just dirt and debris can get in there from getting air fills or just sliding around and stuff. So you just want to make sure that it's nice and clean. If you're using a Q-tip, make sure that you're not leaving cotton fibers in there either. All right, so that looks pretty good in there. We're going to remove all of the old lube from the piston O-ring, off the piston itself, then off of the LPR body O-rings. It's a good habit to get into to make sure that you remove all of that old lubrication. There we go. Looks pretty good. You can get some O-ring or some lube in there. Just take a little O-ring or a little Allen wrench, just kind of push it a little bit. Inside of here. Looking pretty good. I don't see any nicks or any damage to it. Dye recommends every 75,000 to 100,000 shots to service these, and there is a service light that's on here, and we'll reset that after we're done maintaining this. So I think that we look pretty good on there. So we're going to take this, place it back over, let the shims fall down. The one that we forgot about. Add a little bit of dye slick lube. The O-ring, that's a little bit much, but we're going to put a little bit on the shaft as well. And what that will do, it will lubricate the tiny O-ring inside of there. Just push that in. And that really just gets held in by the O-rings and the compression from them, so not too worried about it accidentally sliding out on you. If you tap it, it will come out, or if you push it from that end, it'll come out. So add a little bit of lube onto here. Just give it a little twist. And not globbing it on. As I say that, I glob it on the top one. That's good in there. Let's clean up the other O-ring. That's good there. So we're just going to gently push this back in, and you'll feel it kind of catch. When you feel it catch, that's when you know you're going to be able to screw it back in without cross-threading or anything. And what I like to do is just kind of make it flush with the bottom of that, because you have to put your retaining nut back in there. And we're going to tighten those up. Tiny, tiny little Allens. Really don't take them all the way out, because you will lose them pretty easily. These do not need to get super tight in there. They just make contact with the inside, and that prevents you from being able to unscrew your LPR adjustment screw all the way out the back. So that keeps that in there. And we are ready to put it back in the body. And again, you're just gently pushing it in. You want to make sure you go straight, because you don't want to rip any of those O-rings. So just push them in. 1/4 inch Allen wrench. And sometimes you have to kind of just gently push this in as you go. And this doesn't get tightened down in there too hard, just snugged, and then just a little bit extra, just so it doesn't back out on you. So that's in there flush now. Everything looks good on that. Just clean off some of this residue that's in there. We're going to take the front grip, the little wings right here, push those in, clicks in place. Put that screw back in there. And again, don't over tighten that. You just want it just in there, just snug. Threads are kind of small, so they can damage the body if you just, try and wrench it on there. So that is your LPR, completely disassembled and reassembled and relubed and maintained. All right, so now that we've done our maintenance to either the high pressure regulator, the low pressure regulator, or your bolt, what you want to do is go into your service menu in your marker, and go ahead and turn your marker on. And then you're on the little joystick back here, you're going to press and hold it up. That's going to bring you into your profile select. But if you press and hold the button in, you can go through all your settings in here. So we want to go into data settings and press to the left and go into the service system. So HyperReg service, I had it set for 1,000. I'm going to go in and reset. This is actually for the bolt service. I'm going to reset it all. Reset. I have the bolt set for 8,000. LPR. We're going to reset it. HyperReg. Reset. Then we can exit out of it. Press and hold up. Press and hold up. All right. Then I have double tap to turn off on mine, so double tap it. And that is how you reset your service menu on your Dye M2. Thanks a lot for joining us on this episode of Tech Tuesday.
Go for it. What's that all happened there?
I don't know. We appreciate you. Hey, clean me. Cut from there.